did not know the use of. There are so many things in the world that are just there. We don't think about them, but really they have amazing hidden features and uses. Prepare to be amazed and never use things the same way again. But first, be sure to subscribe and why not press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 we have Lego Holes. We all know Lego toys. When we were kids, we probably all played with them, and maybe secretly we still do today. But one thing you may have never thought about is the small notches on the Lego people's heads. The purpose for the notches is clear, as it's simply to connect the heads to other pieces of Lego. But what about the holes in those notches? If you look inside the notch in the head, there are 3 holes which don't seem to have a purpose. But really, their purpose is life-saving. They're there in case a child who's playing with it swallows it. The holes will allow air to circulate and get to the lungs. These holes have saved thousands of lives, so it's actually a super useful thing which seems useless. Next up is rings on headphone jacks. Take a look at your headphone jack right now. Does it have 3 rings around it? Some people think that this is simply a design on your audio jack, or perhaps it even makes the signal better. But no, that is not the reason for these rings on headphone jacks. You see, each ring is a different section that represents a different component of the device. Also, there are 2 kinds of sounds headphones can make. If your headphone jack has less than 3 rings or no rings, then it will be mono sound. But if your headphone jack has 3 rings on it, then it will produce stereo sound. This is where there are 2 different streams of audio, one coming from the left and the other from the right. And the rings also mean that your earphones are designed to have a microphone function. Next up we have airplane winglets. Have you ever been on an airplane, looked out the window and saw this odd thing on the wing? Some people think this is simply to make the plane look good, but that is not the case. These things are called winglets, and they actually save the lives of not just everyone on your plane, but everyone else in the sky. You see, when an airplane is in the air, it creates small twisters like you might see naturally. This is because of the pressure levels in the upper and lower parts of the wing. These twisters can be dangerous for the plane and also other planes in the sky that follow it. But this is where the winglets come in. They cancel out the twisters by equaling out the air pressure that airplanes create. So these small winglets are not just useful, but are actually life-saving. Next up is holes in earpods. Do you own a pair of Apple earpods? If so, then you'll have realized there are holes in the earpods which don't seem to have a purpose. They don't enter your ear and don't appear to increase the audio quality, but they're actually super important. They allow air to circulate through the speakers to increase low frequencies. In case you don't know much about audio, then this basically makes the audio sound way better. It makes the bass sound deeper and does various other things which improve the sound quality. If you don't believe me and are wearing them now, then try covering them up, and the audio of this video should sound worse. Maybe this can be the next feature Apple removes when they bring a new iPhone out. Next up is embossed side of cotton pad. Have you ever realized that cotton pads have 2 different sides? One side is smooth while the other is embossed. Well, there's actually a reason behind this which every girl should know. The embossed side is for applying makeup, as things on it can come off easily onto your face. And the smooth side is for cleaning your face and removing makeup. This is because things come off onto the smooth side really easily. So there actually is a reason behind the different sides of cotton pads. This one is actually an awesome life tip, so girls take note. And some boys too, I guess. Next up is disc on helicopter. We all know helicopters and how they work. Blades spin around on the top which allows the chopper to take off. But what is that small ball or disc above the rotor on helicopters? They may seem like they're something mechanical, but no, they're very high tech and are probably the most amazing piece of technology on a helicopter. The disc or ball is actually a fire radar controller. They provide information such as elevation and range to calculate the fire solution. It then sends the information to the turrets on board which allows the helicopter to hit the targets right. This is how the Air Force can be so accurate and keep innocent people safe. Next up is hole in ruler. As kids, we probably all used the hole in our rulers to mess around with in class when we were bored. Admit it, we all did it. But believe it or not, they didn't add these holes in for kids to play with. The real reason is simple, but not actually as useful compared to other things on this list. The real use for holes in rulers is simply so you can hang them up on walls. In workshops and tool storage walls, there are holes, and some of those holes can be used to hang up rulers. You may have seen them being used in this way if you did woodshop class in school. Did you know the use of holes in rulers? Next up is backpack loop. Do you or any of your friends wear a backpack to school? I'm sure you've seen a loop on the backpack of a lot of people recently as it's come back into style. However, some people think this is just for style. But no, these are called hauling loops and have been around for a while. They were originally used for hiking and camping to attach heavy things or to carry things which are too large to fit in a backpack. That said, there's not much need to put these on school kids' backpacks today as kids don't carry heavy items to school. Well, perhaps those really young ones just starting out who take giant pencil cases into class. But when they get to senior year, we all know they'd be lucky to remember their pen. Next up is foam on microphone. Have you ever used a set of headphones with a microphone attached to it? Well, then it probably had a piece of foam or fur on it. But for what reason? Some think these are used as decorations, but that is not the case. What they do is stop any wind or background noise from getting into your audio. This is also to do things like stop popping when people say things that begin with P. The way this is done is the foam or fur cover slows down the airflow going into the microphone. So really, this is all to do with making your sound quality better. If that's the case, I wonder why every kid's mic sounds so bad on Xbox Live. Next up is hat pom-pom. Pom-poms on hats are surely used for decoration, right? Well, no. While they're considered girly today, they actually date back to the early 1900s. People in the Navy used to and sometimes still do wear these hats with pom-poms on them. The reason why is because if their pom-pom touches the ceiling, they'd know they'd have to duck down, so there's not much space on a Navy boat. So really, they were